When an accident occurs in the workplace, employers often search for the violation the worker committed that led to the incident, according to Todd Conklin, a senior advisor at the U.S. Los Alamos National Laboratory in New Mexico. Todd shared his view with Canadian HR Reporter TV that human error may actually be system-induced. You say that being overly safe can erode the very principle of being safe. What do you mean by that?
Safety is this really interesting phenomenon. It's really a trade-off is what it is. People are as safe as they need to be because that's what they need to be, without being overly safe because no one will pay for over safety. It's resource intensive, it's time consuming. So they're constantly trying to find the balance between safe and unsafe. And what's interesting is that as you push people towards more and more levels of protection, you start eroding their ability to make judgment, to make choices. And in fact, what happens is you have workers that believe safety is built into the process, which is really quite mistaken because safety is this adaptive phenomenon that happens while workers work.
How can we understand how we react to safety?
If we react to failure as if it were the fault of the worker, then we'll always create corrective actions to fix the workers. The problem with that is that it's almost never the worker. It's almost always some complex relationship between the worker, the system, the incentive, the leadership, sort of the entire complex picture.
So how do you make sure that doesn't happen?
So one of the things I tried to negotiate where I work is I tried to get them to allow me to investigate failure. Investigate success. We always get to investigate failure. In fact, failure is really easy to resource. If somebody dies, there's almost an unlimited budget to go out and do an investigation and fill out the paperwork and do all those things. So I got them to allow me to investigate a success. And what we found was really amazing. So every failure you investigate, you find a worker made a bad decision and there's some kind of procedural deficiency. So like the procedure wasn't good enough or they didn't follow the procedure closely enough. When we started going out and looking at successes, every time we went out and looked at a successful job, we'd find workers making bad choices and procedures that were only partially specific. So one of the things we learned really quickly is that, quite honestly, you have to look beyond procedures, you have to look beyond behavior in order to find either the reason success happens or the reason failure happens.
What do you mean by workers don't cause failure? Workers trigger bad conditions.
Cause is a great word for a machine failure. So Newton's rules of physics apply really good to a machine. They don't apply very well to people. So because people aren't machines, there aren't really causal relationships. So what workers don't do is cause failure, like cause and effect. They trigger failure. All the conditions that exist for every failure exist within the system, and they just come along at the right time, or maybe the wrong time, and trigger it and cause it to fail.